In the year 2045, the Earth was a shell of its former self, ravaged by climate change, resource depletion, and social unrest. The skies were often choked with smoke from wildfires that raged across continents, while the oceans, once teeming with life, struggled under the weight of pollution and rising temperatures. In this grim reality, Elon Musk, now in his 70s, stood as a beacon of hope, urging humanity to look beyond their decaying planet. His vision of a self-sustaining colony on Mars, which had once seemed far-fetched, was now a race against time. Musk had dedicated his life to the dream of a multi-planetary existence, and as he addressed a global audience from his modest office, a flickering hologram of Mars dominated the backdrop. "We must make New Terra a reality," he implored, his voice resonating with urgency. "If we fail to establish a sustainable colony on Mars, we risk losing everything we hold dear on Earth. We are out of time." The world was listening, albeit with skepticism. Many questioned the ethics of prioritizing Mars colonization when Earth was crumbling beneath their feet. Meanwhile, on Mars, the first Starship fleet had successfully landed, delivering the initial wave of pioneers to New Terra. Among them was Dr. Amina Patel, a botanist whose heart beat for the fragile green shoots of life. She had spent years preparing for this moment, her mind filled with visions of lush gardens thriving under the Martian skies. But reality quickly set in. The dust storms that swept across the barren landscape were relentless, and the colony's reliance on Earth for supplies was a constant reminder of their precarious existence. Amina and her team worked tirelessly, attempting to cultivate crops in makeshift greenhouses. The soil was unyielding, and the harsh conditions made their task daunting. With each passing day, the weight of their mission pressed down on her. "We need to grow food," she would remind her team, her voice a mix of hope and desperation. They experimented with hydroponics and aeroponics, trying to coax life from the dry Martian regolith. Yet every failure felt like a step closer to disaster, and the dwindling supplies from Earth loomed like a dark cloud over their efforts. Back on Earth, Musk faced mounting pressure. The descent had turned into a cacophony of voices demanding that he redirect his resources to alleviate the suffering on their home planet. Protests erupted in major cities, with banners reading, "Save Earth First," filling the streets. Musk, however, remained steadfast. He believed that the future of humanity depended on their success on Mars. "We cannot afford to put all our eggs in one basket," he argued in a tense meeting with his board. "If we can create a thriving colony on Mars, we can develop technologies that may one day help heal Earth." As the months rolled on, the situation on Mars grew increasingly dire. A catastrophic dust storm knocked out their power grid, crippling their operations. Supplies were low, and Amina felt the weight of her team's expectations pressing heavily upon her. She gathered her team, their faces illuminated by the dim light of emergency lamps, and proposed a radical idea. "What if we could find a way to use Martian resources to create our own food supply? We need to think outside the box." The team rallied around her, inspired by the possibility of true independence. Simultaneously, Musk orchestrated a critical mission from Earth, determined to send a new fleet of supplies and advanced equipment to New Terra. As the launch date approached, the world held its breath. Would the pioneers on Mars be able to achieve sustainability before it was too late? Would Musk's vision withstand the pressures of a world that demanded immediate solutions for its own crises? The clock was ticking, and both Amina and Musk understood the stakes. For them, it was not just about survival. It was about the very essence of humanity's future. As the dust settled over the red planet and the rockets roared to life on Earth, the question lingered. Could they create a new beginning on Mars? Or would they watch as both worlds spiraled into oblivion?